The provincial and federal governments have announced the reduction of fees at licensed childcare operators across the province. And for more on this, I'm joined live by Education Minister Stephen Lecce. Thank you so much for joining us, Minister. Obviously, this is a huge announcement that I think a lot of Ontario families have been waiting for. Exactly how much is the average Ontario family going to save, and when do these savings kick in?
Absolutely. This is an important step forward to finally make childcare affordable and more accessible for parents. I mean, it increased by 420% of the former Liberal government. We know that's unacceptable. And the Premier gave me a mandate: get a good deal with the federal government that reduces fees and makes life more makes childcare more accessible. So yes, as of January 1, to your question, childcare fees will drop by 50% on average. That's roughly $6,000 per child, as much as $10,000 for like infants, for example. For our youngest kids in places like Toronto, you're going to be saving upwards of $10,000 a year. Big step forward, and we think that is really consequential to our affordability agenda in the province of Ontario. We're also committing to expand the amount of spaces because, some families are on wait lists. We want to reduce that reality. We want to make it much more accessible in neighborhoods, in small communities, and big cities. So we've announced a plan today to help create 53,000 spaces, and we're going to fund at least 27,000 of them, help to incentivize the building of spaces. So we're excited to reduce fees and increase access for families in Ontario.
And furthermore to those spaces, how does the government go about allocating where those spaces end up in which communities?
Yeah, so we really are looking at which communities historically have been underrepresented or have a reduced level of access relative to the average. So social economic indicators, geography, our areas, labor market needs, are areas by which we've evaluated the province. And so in communities where we see that they are underrepresented, or for example have fewer spaces to the children population in their community, we're taking action by announcing a plan to invest $213 million in startup grants, which are going to go to childcare operators. So an operator could build up to 50 more spaces, receive $350,000 from the government. It covers roughly a third of those expenses to build the space. It's giving them an incentive and creating some skin in the game for the government so that we step up, encourage expansion in communities that need it, for single parents, low-income families, racialized kids. I think of children with special education needs having very few options, parents who are essential workers or work in shift work, evenings, weekends, untraditional work. They need that flexibility and that access too. So we are bringing forth a plan to build and meet our objective of 86,000 spaces, and we're on track to do that, in addition to cutting fees by 50 points effective this January 1.
What has been the response from not only the for-profit but for the not-for-profit programs out there? Are we finding that there's been a high enrollment in this program?
Yeah, about 92% have enrolled to date, which is high. I mean, by any objective standard, that's a good achievement for Ontario. And it took us a long way to get here. We did that by listening to frontline staff, nonprofit, for-profit childcare operators, both of whom played a critical role in guiding us. I mean, at the end of the day, our aim is to do three things. It's to reduce the fees, which we're going to do by 50%, $6,000, upwards of $10,000 per child, effective January 1. We're going to increase access, 86,000 more spaces, and today we're announcing a plan to build and fund upwards of 27,000 additional ones over the coming 2 years. And the third component deals with our staff, to really make sure we've got a modern workforce to meet the needs of our growing economy. And so we're going to continue to increase their wages and support their training and do everything possible to create incentives to work within our childcare space. And I think together this plan, it's an inclusive, comprehensive plan. It's allowing us to grow our economy, to ensure more women can work in our labor market, and frankly, save people money. The cost of living is high, inflation is high. I mean, we need to do something when it comes to affordability on childcare. It shouldn't cost a mortgage, and I shouldn't have to hear another parent, often moms, say to me, I had to stay home because it was cheaper to do that than to go to work. Mm-hmm. And so I think this plan really respects the voices of families and delivers some needed financial relief, especially around the holidays. So we're just excited to get this done and move it forward.
Education Minister Stephen Lecce, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.